welcome to soulmask. I'm Sovereign. We're in Myth of Empires today to check out the new armor pieces that came out with the Hellenic DLC. I just wanted to have a look to see what each of them look like. We'll do a comparison video later on because this will end up being a stupidly long video if I'm comparing the armors to the armors that were previously in the game. So we're just going to go on looks for just this video, and then later on we'll release a video showcasing how to get the armor, how to create the armor, and how it might be better or worse than the current armor that we have in the game. And the first armor set we have up is the Pylos armor. Now it's the first in the tier of getting the new Greek Hellenic DLC armors. It looks pretty standard from a point of view of a Greek. Like the Greeks, it's just like basically the standard infantry armor. I kind of like it. It does have some issues where the legs are actually coming through for some of the armor pieces, but for the most part it looks pretty decent. It sits on the body pretty well, and it's not that it's just the starter armor. Basically it's just the starter armor, and we have some really good ones coming up, some ones that look really bloody nice. Next up we have the Konos wooden set. Let me just move backwards a little bit, get away from that bag because I'm dropping it on the floor as I'm looking at them. We have the Konos set up next, and I quite like the bear fur. I do love fur in most armor pieces. There's a tiger sitting over there on the beach, and I do really like the way that this looks. It is very basic, and it does get a lot better. Let me tell you, it does get a lot better. Now next up we have the Konos wooden set, and I do really like the fur that they have on this armor. It's still pretty basic. It's not going to be anything to marvel at. It's just a stepping stone in the armor, but I do really like the fur aspect to it. I wish it had a little bit more fur on the boots. It looks pretty plain on the boots, but it is only the second tier of armor in this list. Let me know what you think about this one down below, and we'll move on to the next piece. Next up we have the mercenary bronze set, and I actually really like this one. It just reminds me completely of a gladiator. I love the fact that it's got the one shoulder piece. I've always liked that in some of my favorite movies like Gladiator, etc. When the guy comes out, it kind of looks similar to the lion armor that the guy has with the lion mask. I quite like it, and it sits much better on the character, and it's got nothing coming through on the around when you're looking around it. I actually really like this one. Now next up we have the boar tusk set, and I really don't like this one. Like I'm sorry to say that this one just looks literally like, you know, when you have like a kid and it's in one of those one-piece outfits and it's just standing there because it can't move anything because it's so thick when it's cold, you know, those big suit things. It kind of looks like that. I'm not a big fan of this one at all. I don't like the way it just looks fat on the body. It doesn't look like you can move much in it. It's just, I don't know. I don't like this one at all. Let me know what you think about this one. Next up, we have the Illyrian iron set, and I like this a lot more than the other one. We're starting to get into the real Greek helmets. We're starting to get into that real Greek feel now with the side pieces, the bits that cover the front of the face, and we've got this kind of like a Corinthian type thing, but there is a Corinthian set later on. But this set is called the Illyrian set, and I actually quite like the way it built. It does look better, and there's nothing coming through on the legs on the bottom, so it looks a lot better than the first original ones that came out. But I like this one definitely a lot more than the last. We're starting to get into the better suits now. And now we have the Corinthian armor set. It's starting to look a little bit more basic. This is the iron level of armors. It's starting to go a little bit backwards, at least I think, with the helmet on this one. It could have had a little bit something better on there. I like the chest piece, the leg guards and that, and having our legs out all the time is kind of the Greek way of doing things, especially in those times. But I wish it had a little bit more armor on there. It doesn't look like it's got enough to cover a lot of things. It is pretty historically accurate. However, I would have liked to seen a little bit more, maybe some shoulder pads on there, etc. Next up we have the Phrygian set, and this one is actually a lot better. It's got some shoulder guards. It's got a little bit of the hair going on the top, the horse hair in the top of the helmet. It's got a lot more armor. The skirt even looks like it's got the leather pleating on it, so it's actually quite nice in my opinion. It's got the scales on the front and on the shoulders. I quite like the look of this one, even though it's still kind of very basic. It's only the iron tier, but I'm still liking the way that it's going so far. I wish the bloody rain would stop though. Now we're finally getting there. This is the heroic steel set, and it's actually really nice. I love the details on it. I love the way it looks. It looks pretty damn good. I love the fact that it's a lot thicker, it's a lot sturdier, and it's definitely something that will look really good when you're running around or riding on a horse, carrying around a big spear or a shield and a sword. It will look really nice. It looks better than the actual armor that you get, the final tier gold armor you used to get from the original game. I actually like this one a lot more. This is probably one of my favorite ones that they have in this new DLC, but there are a few more coming up. My favorite one is definitely coming up, so make sure that that's something you should definitely wait for. Next up, we have the Boeotian armor set. It's taking a step back in my opinion. It's not as good as the last one we've just seen. I don't really like this one all that much. The pleats on the skirt is a little bit too short for me, and the leg guards the chest piece makes it look massive, while the leg guards make they got some properly skinny little legs with some big torso. I'm not really a big fan of the bits that stick out on the sides, like the Hermes wings. I think that might have been a little bit too much, especially for this one. And I still don't like the fact that your beard disappears when you put a helmet on. That kind of annoys me a little bit, but hopefully they'll be able to fix that eventually one time or another. Next up, we have a real meaty piece. Now, I don't know about the neck bit and the shoulder bit, where all of that, might have needed some cover there. I don't know if I like the top part from the neck and the shoulders, but other than that, I love the way that it's got these stepping shoulder pads. I love the way that but again, the legs look a little bit undone, a little bit skinny, and the wrists are also looking like it's a little bit tight on there. Maybe it's just the body, like the body mesh that's actually on the character, but I'm not the biggest fan of the gold. I wasn't a fan of the gold in the original armors either. However, it does look really nice. I think it would be better if it was actually a black iron color, because this is the black iron set rather than just gold. It's a bit much for me in my opinion. Next up, we have the Attic gear set. Now, this is a meteoric set, and it looks like it's gone back quite a decent amount. It doesn't look like it should have been a step up from the previous sets in the black iron gear, but this one just looks like it's taking a step back down to like wood tier, or like maybe bronze tier. I don't know. I don't really like this one at all. I do like the bits on the shoulder pads with the suns, and I do like the blue and white, but I think it could have been done a lot better on this one. I'm not really a big fan. And now we have the last piece of armor on the list, that Chalcidian set, which is part of the meteoric. This is much better. I like the black, I like the gold. I wish they would have had a different color than the blue and the white. I know it's kind of the Greek colors, and I know it's kind of historically accurate, but I would have liked to see some differences in the colors. Maybe it's something that could have been changed. However, I do love the neck piece that they have there covering the shoulders rather than the other piece. The other set, which had the shoulders and neck hanging out, I do like that a lot better. I like the pleats that are coming off the sides there on the shoulders. They're covering the arm area. The arm guards actually look like they should be there, and they're thick. And the legs, still, they're a bit skinny like all the other meshed legs that we've seen so far in every armor piece. But I do think this one is probably one of my favorites just due to the coloring. But that's all we have for the armor sets in a new DLC pack. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know which one is your favorite, which one you'd like to use in the game, which one you have been using in the game. And if you like this kind of content, please throw up a like and throw up subscribe for all your Myth of Empires content. We're still doing Soulmask, and we're doing those guides all the time, so fret not. We will not be just continuing a moving game again. We will be doing Myth of Empires content, and we will be doing Soulmask content, so don't worry about that. It will be dropped on every other day. Maybe there'll be one Myth of Empires one day and one Soulmask one day, so don't worry, it will be coming out. Next video, we'll do all of the weapons showcase, and then we'll do some mount armors and the mounts and everything that's been updated since I dropped the game. Don't forget to stick around to see those ones. I want to thank you all for watching. Remember to like and sub for all your survival gaming goodness. Fly safe and avoid local chat scams.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror.